Welcome to Eskin Fundraising Training's Fundraising, Friendship, and Fun simulcast with the alumni and students of Delta Tau Delta Fraternity. And this is the second simulcast we've done. We did one back in September with Bernie Swain, who formed Washington Speakers Bureau, wrote a best-selling book. He is even older than me, and that's old, but that was a great discussion. Brian was there. Bob's a little younger, and he's class of 2002. Is that right? Here's what's going to happen, Bob. Brian's going to give you a fuller introduction, but I believe in icebreakers, okay? My first icebreaker to you is he is a identical twin, and they both run this firm. And so I want you to say, as credibly as you can, who's better looking, you or Brad?
My twin brother is an extremely good-looking identical twin of mine.
Okay, here's my second question. I'm not bragging, but I'm Jewish, so we're allowed to tell Jewish jokes. You're a lawyer. What's your favorite lawyer joke?
Wow, what do you call 20,000 lawyers at the bottom of the sea? A good start. That's it, man.
Okay.
I can tell my lying joke.
I say, by the way,
that's solid, Bob.
Social
I like
media
it.
Post. It was all lawyer jokes. I Googled them. They were not bad.
See, I only know the really dirty lawyer
Ryan
jokes.
Burdham has been chairman of our housing corporation for 11 years, and we wouldn't be where we are without him. I am in awe of the time and effort and commitment he has made. He is a classmate. I understand this shouldn't be too public. They went to Atlantic City together with Bob and everything, and he's a contemporary of Bob. Brian, would you do the honors of introducing Bob?
I will, and I'll just introduce myself. I'm chairman of the Educational Foundation for Gamma Eta. I think I've served pretty much since my graduation in 2000. And I'll tell you what, our special guest I want to introduce you to. He is an amazing speaker. Bob and I have known each other since what? 02, Bob? Earlier than that?
1998, brother, the 90s.
Was it 1998?
I think we were both wearing cutoff t-shirts and drinking Steel Reserve.
Probably true. I'm going to tell you, when I met Bob and Brad, right, there were these freshmen pledging, and I think I was a junior at the time, and I was treasurer, and there's just something different about them, right? There's these two guys from Pittsburgh, and we realized their dad's this UPS driver, right? And immediately you figured out these guys got it together, and something was different about them. It wasn't about money or fame or anything, right? They just wanted to be the best person possible, living a life of excellence. And it's a true story, right from my heart. It is such an honor to introduce Robert Simon as our speaker today. Brother Simon surpassed all goals in my head ever after meeting him early in life. His excellence and accomplishments are incredible. His record of giving back to all communities. I am so honored to be able to introduce him for tonight's discussion. If you've never heard of the Justice Team, you're about to tonight. Jim, I'll pass the mic back to you. Bob, it's so nice to see you in person.
Yeah.
Or at least virtually.
I wish I'd see your face more often. I'll be in D.C. in a couple of weeks, Brian, so I'll be close.
Then you and I are having dinner.
Yep. I just learned I got to
let me explain the format. We have probably a million questions ready for Bob. By the way, I know we're not in the courtroom. It's okay if I call you Bob instead of Robert T.
Sure, man. You can call me anything you want.
or Mr. Bourbon.
You can call me that.
Okay. But at any time, the audience can participate three ways. You can type in the chat space. You can write into the Q&A. Better yet, you can raise your hand, and our producer will give you audio and video privileges, and you can join us on camera. And by the way, I work, Bob is based in LA, and he's helped me get a prize for the best question. Bob, do you know what prize you're going to arrange for?
Yeah, what's the prize?
Dinner with Sydney Sweeney. How's that?
Oh, yeah. Okay. If you would like to.
Okay, so I hope she's on your speed dial. Anyways, anytime you want to join the discussion, later on, probably, I don't know, about halfway, we are honored to have Steve Vedra, who is president of the Delta Tau Delta Foundation, and he's going to give a national update. And then we're going to hear from some of the younger guys. My God, they could be my grandchildren. And we got John, believe it or not, is chapter president. Good luck, my friend. And Sydney Sweeney works with my wife. We're going to hold you to that prize.
Yep.
I want to see, but I'll tell you what, we're going to add this. I want a Sydney Sweeney story, but we'll add that on mid-flow, okay?
Yeah, I can tell you what her ask is to be the face.
I dreamt about Sydney just last night, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Unproductively. Anyways, it's okay. Let's start. Are you okay to start, Bob, with the questions?
Yeah, let's roll.
And again, to the audience, if you want to need a clarification, you got the chat box, you got Q&A, you can raise your hand. First of all, Bob, what has changed during your career practicing law, and what hasn't changed?
Well, what has not changed is the hustle that you got to be able to do. I mean, you got to work, you got to learn. The most drastic change is the adaptation of technology, artificial intelligence into the practice of law. The outside of my law practice, I own a legal technology company, so we're well versed in it. So we just got off a call with the American Bar Association because we're partnering with them in a lot of big ways and doing their ABA Tech Show. So I think there's no other better opportunity, especially for young folks. You can come right out of law school. You can open your own firm. You can leverage technology like nothing you've ever seen before.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait. What does your wife do that she works with Sydney Sweeney? And what can you tell us about? I've watched a lot of interviews with her, okay? She's no bimbo. And if she is a bimbo, she's a very rich one. I think she just turned 30. How does your wife work with Sydney Sweeney? Is there a story you can share that might surprise us?
Yeah, my wife's a serial entrepreneur. She's also from Pittsburgh. If you look up Christine Bullock, you would realize that I have the gift of gab like none other to be able to marry up like that. But Christine has, she had a workout DVD series. She's a fitness model for a long time, had a skincare brand. She's launching now a healthy energy drink for women. And they have people vying to be the face of that brand. Sydney Sweeney is one of them. Sabrina Carpenter. There's like 3 others, and they're interviewing them. And what's the other one? What's her name? She's really big, and I'm blanking on it. But it's interesting just to hear what their asks are through their management of, do they take a big check up front? Do they want equity in the company? What's their equity ask? How willing are they willing to promote the brand? So she's a very intelligent person. I can tell through those talks, and I'll leave it at that. I think Dua Lipa.
Thanks.
Dua Lipa's probably she's the biggest shark. The biggest shark is Dua Lipa.
An attorney.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you had an epiphany. And could you share that personal moment that was so dramatic in your family?
Well, I think the biggest epiphany was whenever I think we were on the 3rd strike at Delta Tau Delta, and I had to go down to Student Judicial Services and I had to put together presentations to get us out of trouble, which I won every one of those cases. Every one of those cases is the president there for like 2 or 3 years. Brian Burnham, you remember that. Also, my uncle was catastrophically injured and paralyzed when I was 11 or 12, lost the use of his legs. And again, coming from a working class family, you see how people need an advocate and a lawyer, especially one that you can afford. And the only way you can afford the best lawyer if you have no money is if someone's willing to defer their fees. So I only work on a contingency fee basis, which means I only win if I only get paid if I win, period, straight up. Every case I take is structured that way. I've never billed a per hour in my life. Every one of my companies, the other companies that I have, it's all equity. I don't take salaries. It's just you eat what you kill. So, but I've always inspired to help other people, and then things just happen from there. But tell you what, GW and Delts were great because there was no scarcity of legal problems that I had to maneuver around while I was in college.
Hey, if there ever was a family business, it's your law firm. Can you describe how many brothers do you have working with you? Not fraternity, but blood brothers.
No. Blood brothers, two brothers. Both of my sisters work in my technology company. My mom and dad work for me now. My dad's new wife works for us. My new dad's wife's two children work for us. I probably have a couple of cousins, maybe an illegitimate child or two that I'm not aware of that's also working for us. A couple of brother-in-laws are also within the companies, I believe, somewhere.
Can you just, what are some of the advantages of having family members so close working together, and what are some of the disadvantages?
Both the advantage and disadvantages, you're never not working, even during,
John.
Even during Christmas and Thanksgiving, is you're always talking about issues with the company or different stuff.
This is good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're also so close to each other that you can be totally real. You know, how many times my sister tells me, Bob, you're being a fucking idiot every day. I'm sure we can curse on here. If not, you can bleep it, but it's a lot.
Okay. And let's go on to another. We're all proud to be Delts. And Steve Vendra. Oh, John, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. Obviously, the brothers in this fraternity, we're not necessarily related, Robert, but, when it comes to working with people that you're really close with, but still, needing to make decisions and tell people no or stuff like that, and you're doing that with your family and your business, like, how do you go about that and make decisions like that?
So actually, one of my fraternity brothers pledge class, Marat Abehan, who Brian knows very well, is the CFO for all of my companies. One of my law partners, Tom Conroy, who was also, I think we were pledge masters our second or semester, whatever. He runs all of our complicated product liability cases, and it's having that trust, but you have to have a buffer. It's like, I look at this way, we call like key performance indicators. So with a law firm, you have legal, you got operations, and you got somebody in the middle that tells you if you're hitting your KPIs or not, and that is an unbiased individual. So I like to tell, I don't know if anybody's aware with like EOS training, but it's very similar. You hold people accountable for what they're saying to do. Every executive in the company, even me as the owner of the companies, I have deliverables. And if I'm not held accountable, somebody needs to tell me that. You don't want to surround yourself with yes people. That's just a failure. So waiting to fail. So I think very highly, if you are working with family, you have to have that tie break. But also my brother and I own every single company together. So we have complete control of them, but you still have to be checked,
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. Now, remember, you're the oldest brother. Is that right?
6 minutes. You got that right.
Oh, that still, doesn't that get you PIN number?
What's that?
Doesn't that get you PIN number?
I was number one. I was pledged.
Okay.
I was number one out of 24.
Okay.
We had a big pledge class.
Needed the matter.
What's that?
How did the Delta Tau experience prepare you for such a successful law career?
Well, it teach you how to, go to a school without. I didn't know anybody, man. My brother and I didn't have any connections, so you had to be able to hustle, make connections.
You're from Pittsburgh. Are you from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that's right. Hiring a new head coach these days, thank God. But you got to be able to understand the hustle. You got to understand to like work together with other folks. It was we moved out when I moved out to Los Angeles. There was 12 of us that were Delts that moved out together. We all still very close. We had Sunday dinners always together. Of course, my brother, the two other guys that work at the firm, but there's a whole crew of us that we still get together, talk and hang out. We still play all the fantasy sports together. But we all just said we're going to move somewhere where there's no humidity and it's nice all the time. So we went to California, and we have not left. I think every single person except one who moved back to Philly is all still out there. So I don't know, man. It's like we met like some of my best friends you made when you're 18. You grew up together, literally grew up together, and now we're all practicing law together, and we're still acting.
I forgot to ask, where about in LA are you?
So I live in Manhattan Beach, California. So it's one of the beach towns. Pretty nice, I guess.
Yeah. What's the weather today? What's the weather today?
In California, it's always going to be 75 and sunny, with a low of like 55 to 60 when at night, and that's it. Every day, you can say that the weatherman's the easiest job in the world. We've got a guy named Dallas Rains. Guy named Dallas Rains. He gets it wrong. What a joke. What's up, dude? He got a question. Let's put him on with his Augusta flag up there.
Hey, Robert. I just had a question about like your experience in Delta Tau Delta and your time at GW. Obviously, you and your pledge class were extremely close, and you guys were able to stay close years after graduating. And how do we, as like being on e-board, plant that seed to make sure that the people in RPC and the PC after us will have the same experiences in college that actually want them to move across the country together and then stay connected, throughout the years?
I think it's important to create and curate mentorship tracks, and you guys have a unique ability to do that. Something simple as like Slack communities or staying WhatsApp groups and things like that, where we didn't have that when we graduated 2002. I know that sounds so archaic, but just staying in there and helping place people. Like one of my companies, Justice HQ, is you can join it today, and it's nothing more than a community building app for anybody interested in law. So we have like CEO,
I love it.
billion-dollar companies that are there. They're creating their own events. They list them there. You can join their masterminds. But I think that's how you need to be able to stay connected. Because at the end of the day, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But you got to still hustle and apply it. But it just helps accelerate that stuff. So I think what you tell all these folks is like, why would you lose an opportunity through a relationship, especially if somebody you like? I mean, it's a no-brainer. Because as you'll learn that you can tell who people are that are loyal as friends, and you know it since you're in college. And if you know somebody that's, especially if you have them highly leveraged with blackmail, tell you,
Yeah.
you got them.
Hey, Bob, what do you find most satisfying about your work? And let's be candid, what do you find most frustrating?
The most satisfying thing is helping somebody. I mean, we were able to get somebody. I mean, every day we have these big wins. Like today, they asked me the U.S. Senate to come have our clients testify in front of the U.S. Senate February 3rd. And then I know a few people on Hill, so we're going to hold like press conferences. And it's something very important to me. I think, civil rights and social justice. So like actually helping write legislation after having big wins is hugely important to me, and showing that impact and having your kids be proud about it. The most challenging thing is like, it's very hard for me to talk to clients initially, because I always know I can win, but I can't take every single case. My brothers don't let me get on the phone with new clients anymore. But that's the hardest thing, is like sitting on the phone and hearing people in their worst moment. We do a lot of sex trafficking cases, sex abuse, high impact injury cases, and it's never easy. You become their therapist, and it's a lifelong relationship. So that is the hardest part, but also the most rewarding.
If I saw it correctly, you have an incredible win ratio. What is it? I mean, you're like in Tom Brady atmosphere.
I mean, as far as verdicts in front of the jury, I think I've only lost one case. I probably hit 50, almost all 7 or 8 figures. I've had 2 other losses, all overturned. Those 2 were overturned, but I did have 1 loss against Costco when I was a baby lawyer, but I should not have won that case, although I thought I could have. But everybody loves Costco.
Hey, let's talk about the Justice Team Network, which really extends from coast to coast. Could you share briefly what are the most significant differences in our legal system in the different states?
Every state has their own different set of rules. Most court filings are in state courts, not federal ones. So you just have to be very cognizant of, like, for instance, in Virginia, they're in what's called a contributory negligence case, where even if somebody rear ends you, rear ends you, you did nothing wrong. If they can prove you were 1% at fault, you get zero. Zero. You go over to Maryland and it's 50 plus. You go to Pennsylvania, it's straight comparative, where if you say they're 99% at fault, you get 99% recovery. Same thing as California. And it's just, in Virginia, they have a limit on how much somebody can get from medical negligence. I don't know, Brian doesn't know this, but somebody we went to college with had a very unfortunate child die due to medical negligence. And it happened, unfortunately, in Virginia. And they had a limit of what they could recover. And the other side knows that. They can outspend you. They know you can only get that amount. Now, if that case had happened in Pennsylvania, there'd be unlimited amount to recover for the loss of a child, which is the worst thing of all time. And Brian doesn't even know that story, and I'll talk to him about separately, but that's heartbreaking, right? And you have to know those different things as you're going to different jurisdictions.
Bob, is it public right
No.
now?
It might. They're supposed to. They're supposed to start trial this month, but it just resolved.
Text me.
Yeah, I think you probably.
Text me.
I guarantee you know because it was all over the news when it happened. But
All right.
but I found she reached out to me because she trusted me, and I found her the best lawyer in Virginia because this is my network that we build, and they did a really good job. But you can't cure what happened, you know.
Hey, Bob, and this you just segued perfectly into our next question. You're especially known for advocating for the underdogs. I like that. I've been an underdog all my life. Can you share some of your proudest examples of winning for underdogs?
Ooh. One of the first sex abuse cases I tried was a 13-year-old girl that was being abused by the neighbor that would take her around to clean up office buildings. And she was just doing it to try to get a cheerleading outfit, came from a broken home. We held the company accountable because they knew that this guy was taking a teenager, and she was like 4'2", like 80 pounds. It's not like you were mistaking who this was. And he had other prior allegations against him that they try to sweep under the rug. And just through, I'll stay up all night and figure shit out. I found out who a friendly that used to work at that company as a general counsel, and I subpoenaed that dude to trial, and he sang, man, and we crushed them. It just exposed every single lie that they had and got her a big recovery in a very conservative venue. For the most rewarding part is we got her out of her toxic home, got her to her favorite foster family that she had, and she created a life for herself, even after all of that. So it wasn't the biggest win that I've ever had, but I think it was one of the most impactful. So, but those stories.
I bet you slept good that night.
Probably. After trial, though, dude, you don't sleep for like a week because you're on like different dopamine levels. So,
when you go to sleep after a trial, do you kind of relive it, dream about it? I wish I could have done this. I wish I didn't do this.
Every day. I have a electronic notepad now next to my bed. I write down shit that I'm thinking about or stuff I got to do or say. Get up early before the kids get up, and you have
3 daughters, right? 3 daughters?
3 daughters, and I think they have that old saying. Well, Brian probably knows why I have 3 daughters, but there we go.
Yeah, well, I don't know which sorority are they going to join. I recommend Delta Gamma.
We had DGs. We had a lot of Gs. But I don't think college will be so much of a thing when they're so little. I don't know what it'll look like, man. I don't know.
Yeah. Probably virtual. Okay, this is a very practical question for all of us and everyone in the audience. And by the way, Bob, our statistics show that probably 20 times as many people watch as replay that we'll put on YouTube and share on social media. So I know this is a very, very common question. What's your advice on choosing a good attorney that's going to be a good fit for you and your family?
Who do you trust? Here's what the number one thing is. There's a lot of great lawyers that don't have a great bedside manner, but they could have somebody that could help find you that person. So I see every lawyer as your general counsel. They find the best fit for you. the best lawyers are ones that realize their limitations. And in my world, you can split fees with other lawyers. So oftentimes I get brought in to parachute into a trial that's my specialty, and vice versa. If I don't do medical malpractice cases, but I know the best ones that do. So if somebody calls me, I will make sure, since they trust me, I'll find the best trusted referral to take care of it. And I think that's you leverage your network, man. And if that's the best way, it's not looking, well, used to be a phone book, but looking at billboard, digital marketing. People that are paying the most for ad spends usually aren't the best lawyers. It's a turn and burn type machine for us, but they refer to the best lawyers. And I think that's the mission. Yep.
This is another common one. What's your advice and counsel on settling out of court?
I mean, it's always a good idea. Like, the only time you have control of the process is if you settle, because if you go in front of a jury, the result's the result. Like, you live with it and you don't have control. And there's also costs involved. Like, I've tried product liability cases where we front $1 million worth of costs. And if we lose, you don't get that back. That's how it works, man. But it's always better to settle. And there's different vehicles that people don't realize you can do. We do a lot of what's called a high-low settlement and try the case, where we'll work and negotiate with the other side, as we can only get, even if we lose, we get X amount, but if we win, we can't get over that amount. But if it falls in the middle, that's where it lands. So it's like you're hedging your risk. And that's a lot of people don't know that exists, but it gives you, some surety, but has some upside for both sides to be able to go try that case. No, but I think
it's okay to let you breathe for a moment, and we're going to turn to some other DELT representatives for a couple of minutes. It's really an honor to have the president of the Delta Tau Delta Fraternity Foundation with us, Steve Vedra. Steve, welcome. And I forget how many, we got 130. How many chapters do we have? And he's going to give a national perspective. How about you take a whole 2 or 3 minutes? How's that?
Sure. Sounds good. Thanks, Jim. Certainly an honor to be here. We're Delta Tau Delta nationally is quite strong right now. 130 chapters, over 160,000 alumni. If you look at us, we are the smaller of the big fish. So we are ranked right at number 11, so right outside the top 10. But we continue to grow and do well. Where I always like to kind of frame the fraternity is past, present, future. I think a lot of what Bob has shared about his experience about going up against, the university or building the relationships. Jim and I had a conversation about this earlier about, that him serving as an undergraduate as chapter treasurer and vice president and, recruitment chairman, that DELT is a perfect learning laboratory for life. So I think as much as, Bob has talked about technology and innovation, entrepreneurship, I think the thread that I'm hearing that runs through is he started his firm, and the way that he leverages his firm is through relationships. And so I think that the fraternity has always done an excellent job of teaching that. And I will say right now we're at a point where young men need that. Maybe to Bob's point, there are fewer and fewer men going to college, fewer and fewer men, who are graduating and going to graduate school, and mental health. I mean, there's so many variety of issues that are facing young men. But what we know statistically as an industry and within DELT, if you join a fraternity, you're more likely to graduate. You're more likely to have lifelong relationships, which is a key to happiness and success. You're more likely to have a job when you graduate. So I think all those things that, go back to Jim's time or Bob's time or even to the current guys still holds very much true to DELT. In terms of the present, I'd share with you that 2 weeks ago, we brought about 160 young men to Denton, Texas, which is just outside Dallas. We did 2 programs. Yeah. One program called PresX, which I think this was the 7th year. And so we bring all 130 chapter presidents, or as many you can 10, I think this year is about 110, to a single location, many of which are sophomores, and we teach them the basics about being chapter president. So I'm sure Bob would have appreciated this back in 2002, but it's one of these things of like, hey, how do you stand up for an unpopular opinion? How do you hold people accountable? How do you set a vision? And so, not to speak for Bob, but I've heard so many former chapter presidents or chapter officers that actually started their own businesses because they felt like they already had that experience of running an organization in their undergraduate chapter. So the other program that we did was called is Compass Leadership. So it's basically for emerging leaders. So this is for freshmen and sophomore. Guys who have just joined the fraternity and they think that they want to be a chapter officer. So it's an introduction to them developing their own personal leadership style and kind of looking at who they are and who they want to be. So both absolutely fantastic programs. And so happy to do that. And so the Delt Foundation is an organization that supports that either by, alumni support or to the national organization or through, supporting local chapters. So I do know Gamma Eta has a chapter education fund. Brian and I have worked on that for a number of years, continues to grow. And so I know we're able to put those dollars to good use. I'll leave you with this. The greatest of all Delt events is coming up on August 5th through 9th in Phoenix. So as much as we love our own individual chapters, this is an opportunity for 600 plus Delts, their spouses from all over the country to hear guest speakers and to participate in fellowship and really just to have a great opportunity to renew the Delt spirit. So for anybody that's interested on that information's on the Delt website and hope to see you there. So I guess if you have any questions or otherwise, back to you, Jim. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Steve. And thank you for your leadership. Bob, I didn't know this. Steve and I talked a little earlier today, and the Delt family, first of all, it's a lifetime experience, and I have discovered you can always make new friends. You can't make old friends. And like you and Brian, me and Bob Rodano and Jack Pond, we share memories that, like it or not, nobody else can. And we have so many distinguished members in the Delt family. I didn't realize, did you, that Ranch Rickey, who I think did as much for social justice when he signed Jackie Robinson in integrated baseball in 1947, he was a very loyal, lifelong Delt. Steve, was it out of Ohio Wesleyan?
Yep.
I didn't know that. And Jackie Robinson is one of my biggest heroes, but it took Ray Ritchie to go out on a limb and change sports and change America. And he's just typical of the heroes we have in the Delt family. And talking about future heroes, I'd like to call on John. He is the undergraduate chapter president. John, prepare to earn gray hair early. He happens to be from the finest community, we can say without any bias, on the U.S. map, Newton, Massachusetts. Could you give a state of the undergraduate chapter and maybe introduce some of your fellow brothers?
Yes, sir. So just a quick update on the chapter. We just got started. We all got back to school 2 weeks ago, and we're off to a pretty hot start. So we are first off, like one of the immediate bumps that I've seen since the new administration, our new board took over, is that our chapter attendance is really good. So we got a lot more guys showing up, which is a problem we had last semester that we wanted to improve on. I wanted to improve on. So that's something I'm definitely proud of. And we'll get stronger as we go into Rush, which will be happening in about a week. And then also, Steve, I don't know if you know Hunter Brackett, but he's one of the consultants for Delt National. So he came Wednesday through Friday. We had a great visit with him. We got good marks from him. He was really, really insightful and was able to talk to everybody on eBoard and kind of just, give us a lot of good pointers and help us out with some stuff. So that was really appreciated. And we appreciate that from you guys. And then another thing, kudos to Brian. We filled the house, which was going to be an issue. So we have 8 residents in the house and we only had 7 guys and we were able to find an extra guy, and Brian did a lot of the heavy lifting on that. So we really appreciate that. Obviously it helps us, both the chapter and the foundation. So that was huge. And that's, always good to have. And then, a couple other things. I've been in contact with a lot of the people at nationals, just tightening some things up. So getting new ritual gear, which I'm definitely going to put an emphasis on this semester, and getting some stuff for Rush. Again, like I said, that's coming up. So we're really looking forward to that. And one of our members who's not here right now, Trex Jones, he's a junior. He's actually the president of the IFC.
Wow.
I really appreciate his
Hey, by
his
the way,
work.
I'm not going to brag. I'm a past president of the IFC.
There you go.
I'm very
There
proud.
you go.
It got me in office. Didn't get
So-
me a date, but they got me in office. Okay.
So Trex has done a really nice job because we opened up to Fall Rush last semester for the first time, and he did a good job bringing that in, and now we're we have another big Rush cycle in the spring, which we're appreciative of, and that's a lot due to his work. So we're going to enjoy having, I think, close to 60 potential new members in this Rush cycle, which is again, really big, given that we had, I don't know, maybe 80 or more last semester. So I think for the whole year, for the academic year, we're seeing kind of record numbers. So hopefully we'll bring in a good chunk of those guys, and we'll really set ourselves up for success, because we got a lot of brothers who graduated, and we have some brothers abroad. So we're looking to, I think we're sitting at about 56 active brothers right now who are on campus this semester. So hopefully we can, maybe even break 70 before we get those guys back abroad when we go into the fall. So we're really excited. We've had good communications with nationals. Like I said, our board's working well, and I think the guys are, reinvigorated and excited to be part of the chapter and kind of see where it takes us. And just to go around the room real quick, I'm here with 4 other guys. Unless you have something.
I'll tell you what, if they could introduce themselves, their name,
100%.
their year, their major, and their hometown.
Yeah, no question. Here you go.
Hello, my name is Eddie Gabor. I'm a second-year accounting and finance major. I serve as the vice president for the Gamma Eta chapter, and
What's your hometown?
Oh yeah, sorry, Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ryan Baranowitz. I'm currently the secretary for the Gamma Eta chapter. I'm a criminal justice student with an info systems minor, and I'm from Margate, New Jersey.
Okay. Do you like those Jersey boys? Okay.
My name is Cam. I'm a sophomore. I'm a cellular and molecular biology major for a minor in chemistry, and I'm from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Everyone, my name is Miles Wasserman. I'm the recruitment chair here at Delt. I'm a second-year student studying international business and French, and I'm from Scituate, Massachusetts. It's not Newton, but I would argue it's just as good.
Hey, listen, man. Oh, how far are you from the beach, by the way?
I can see the ocean from my house. I'm about 500 feet.
Oh, I know Scituate, man. I love Scituate.
I can imagine. It's a very desirable location, sir.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So that's everybody we have right here. Again, they're all board members. They're all doing a fantastic job. So, and especially,
and congratulations and thank you to your team, John. And I remember we had a Zoom call that I de-zoomed, whatever, we overcame. And I think your predecessor, Chang, shared your cumulative GPA of last December, and I was blown away. Could you share that number?
For the chapter?
Yeah.
The chapter GPA. I didn't have that number on hand. I'm not totally sure of that. I know Henry shared that with you. If you have it off the top of your head, I have to dig that up real quick. Sorry.
I think, if I could believe it, it was a 3.8.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was definitely north of 3.5.
Well, I don't know, Brian and Bob Rodano and Jack Pond. That's a little more impressive than we could say. What would you say, Bob?
Yeah, I think we were hovering a lot lower than 3.5 when I was there. But
So thank you again. And John, we have so much confidence, and we're talking about doing something very innovative as rebalancing responsibilities between the House Corp and the undergraduate chapter, because we have so much confidence in your maturity, your commitment, and the way you are building campus-wide partnerships. I think Henry told me you're actually partnering with Divine Nine, which blew my mind.
Yeah, we had one event with them last semester, so that was good. That's not something a lot of the fraternities are good doing. So I think it's just we have a good. I mean, obviously we have a diverse group of guys academically too, and we're dealing with other professional fraternities on campus too. So we're trying to be a good part of the community.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for carrying on. We are so proud of you all. So thank you. And this segues perfectly to Bob's next question. What advice do you have undergraduates who are contemplating becoming attorneys?
Your network matters. Your major don't. I mean, get as high as a GPA as you can to get in whatever law school. Go to whatever law school, whatever area that you want to practice, because what you're doing while you're in law school matters, and you can build your client base, your relationships while you're there. I think people push too much emphasis on, oh, I got to go to Stanford or some legacy school. Like, nobody gives a shit. The best trial lawyers are the best at what they do. Didn't go to like the big. Yeah. I mean, that's just the reality. I would say I speak a lot to law students, go to law schools, and they always get mad at me when I tell them, don't do law review unless you want to go fucking write appeals for the rest of your life. Like, you got to be a practicing implementation. That's why I'm big. With you guys sitting there, you guys should be developing yourselves with mentors. You should have a list of all Delta-owned places. You should be like, that's what matters. Because if you go to internships, those turns into jobs, that turns into careers, that turns into guidance. Sitting in front of a book can only teach you so much.
Yeah.
Well, plaintiffs' attorneys are the most.
You do a popular podcast called Bourbon of Proof. Could you?
Yeah, we had a question though. We're going to take a question.
Share a favorite episode.
Well, we had a question from A's phone. That's all I could see.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was saying that plaintiffs' attorneys are the most entrepreneurial people in law school, regardless, just generally speaking.
Yeah, because it's just because you're only as good as your work. Like, you don't get, again, paid per hour, so you have to do things we've always leveraged technology and artificial intelligence lately, because you have to be able to be as efficient as you can, because we literally have equity in every single case that we're working on. And best bourbon or proof episode. I mean, a lot of the ones we've been doing the live shows lately have been hilarious, and just the banter. You can tell because I film them all in one day. So I'll do 6 or 7. Tomorrow I'm doing 7 episodes in downtown LA, and I do 3 to 4 pours an episode. So when I'm at the end, when ones get released and you can see slurring a lot more, I filmed that one later in the day. But my favorite episode was probably Carl Douglas, who represented O.J. Simpson. And I got him 2 or 3 shots of tequila in. I just asked him straight up if OJ did it, and he actually gave a fucking great answer, man. But no, we've had some great stories and great moments on there. But it's the banter. I literally created a show of just drinking whiskey with my friends and inviting guests on. That's the show, but it works. So,
who are some of your heroes from our legal system?
Man, I mean, actually, a couple of my heroes are going to be on the show tomorrow, like Brian Panish, who's hit some of the biggest verdicts to hold people accountable, is on my show tomorrow. Nick Rowley, who's a close friend of mine, close in age, but he's probably tried 200 jury trials. He does also have 12 children. He's like 46 years old. Yeah, 12, dude. Yeah, he's got he's literally the lawyer. He's the lawyer that lives on his jet, that goes from trial to courtroom to courtroom. His wife's a lawyer too. And it's just, he doesn't take no for an answer. He changes laws, changes statutes. I mean, it's just, I've always had trouble having like a hero of somebody that I don't know personally. To me, it's just a weird concept. It's like, I don't know what their home life is like. I like guys that are family guys, that are good spouses, good to their kids, and do a good job. Like, that's simple.
Now, I think this question is fair game since you're based in LA. I got to tell you, I'm a Netflix freak, and I'm a freak, but also I'm addicted to law shows. Do you have, past, present, and future, a favorite law movie or TV series?
I mean, Goliath with Billy Bob Thornton was pretty awesome. It was most recent. A lot of the John Grisham ones are pretty spot on, man. I don't get the opportunity to watch much TV lately just because everything's so busy and chaotic. But
you're making a living.
Yeah, I mean,
did you watch it? I have to admit, I have a crush on her at that time on Juliana Margulies, and I loved The Good Wife.
Never watched that one.
And I noticed, she was about, I don't know, 45 then. And no man on the show could resist her. And then she was a great mother, a great wife, and a great lawyer. But boy, did I have a crush on her.
Yeah, I mean, no, but for the guys that are listening, you guys are in college. Figure out what fucking makes you happy and figure out to make that your career. Full stop. Like outside of law, like I do stuff creative and the bourbon show, the media, but it's all I love doing those things. But we also have a video game company. My brother and I literally just had a meeting with Dungeons and Dragons 2 weeks ago because they want to do an IP trade so we can run their game or game on their stuff. It's just fun stuff that we used to do. Brian and I we created this game called NCAA, which is a card game matched with you do poker, and it was awesome. But like I love doing that shit. So just if you could find a way, I mean, the biochemist in the room, you guys could be doing some cool shit there. Take your accounting guy over there, the
John,
biochemist.
I will teach you this one.
Yeah.
I will.
Okay, I want to challenge the audience. Type this into the chat box, and remember, you could get dinner with Sydney Sweeney. I had no concept that Bob had a first-person relationship with Sydney Sweeney. Here's what I want you to type in. As of now, not who do you want, but who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year? Type that in the chat space.
Yeah, my God.
Sorry, hey Bob, you can't put in the
Bob,
Steelers.
Bob, you know what's not going to happen, and it's I'm typing Pats. I'm not going to type it in, but it's Pats, man.
I mean, look, man, I'm a Steelers fan, but
I know. Trust me, we've gone through this.
But the Steelers did beat the Patriots, even though that game looked a little rigged. I'll take it.
I'm just saying it's going to be the Pats.
Hey, John from Newton, what's your perspective?
I mean, we got the best. I've been fortunate. Miles obviously is from Situate. Eddie's a Pats fan, so we're all lucky. We're young enough where we've had two great quarterbacks now. So Drake May.
I'm gonna tell you guys one of the funniest stories. And I think Burnham might have been there at that time.
Yeah, please do.
But when we were in college at the Dell House, we were over there, 2020 G Street, and this was the first year that the Patriots made the Super Bowl. And
I was there. Yep, I know exactly this.
I think that was 01. Wasn't that 01?
Yep, I know this.
So this was our big. We had a big Patriots contingency there, and this was our guy named Justin Morehouse, who's now hugely successful. Like we built websites. We had like a gambling website. We were like hedging people. So it was crazy. Yeah. But we used to call. He was the original mush. Like the guy just was always down on his luck. One of the most brilliant people in the world. He was also, I think, our treasurer at the time. And Justin. There's this new app, there's a thing called bodog.com where you can do online betting, and they had this huge thing. If you view like your first bet, they would give you an extra 50%. If you brought somebody in, they'd give you an extra 50%. So all you have to do is make one bet and get an account, and you can make like $2,000. So we're like, all right, well, let's put some of the the house money in here, and it's like, I'll do it. I'm gonna honor this. He's do it. You know what he bet on? The game would not go to overtime. It didn't matter what the odds were. You had to place a bet to essentially just win like $2,000. And do you remember what happened that game? Adam Vinatieri, they had to march down the field, and Adam Vinatieri had to kick a field goal to
John
win the
Madden
game.
said overtime.
But this kid almost died. He would have lost like the fucking house funds at the Gamma Eta chapter. He'd been the biggest mush of all time. His team is in the Super Bowl for the first time, right? And he almost mushed the mush of all time in the first ever game to go to the Super Bowl. And we would have well, whatever. The kitty was flush. We bought a fog machine. The rest is history. But there we go.
I wouldn't mind to see the Patriots and Rams, and that's a reunion game from 01, right?
Is that who they played? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rematch no matter what. Because we got the Seahawks in 2014 too. So,
hey, listen, I got one more question for Bob, but I want to open it to the audience. Any questions from the audience while we got a few more minutes left? And Bob, this has been such a rich hour. Thank you for sharing the biggest gift of all your time.
Yeah, man. Anything you guys want?
Any questions? I'll float one because most of the guys that alumni on the call, we were all 2020 G Street brothers, and our experience as managing a large house, 15 rooms, 20 plus people, 27, 28, whatever it was, living there, solving those problems, dealing with those issues, meetings, problems with brothers, all kinds of things. Our current chapter has got 60 brothers, which is more than we ever had, but we only have 18.
Yeah.
And the real challenge, I think, from Delt National, and it's something we wrestle with in our trustee meetings, is how do we help the brotherhood, the undergrads, have the connectivity that we had. And so this is something that we're still in the process of dealing with, kind of after we lost the chapter. And so I think it's important for the undergrads maybe to hear some of the stories that we tell, the risks we took, the problems we solved, the fact that it helped us, in the future because we dealt with the craziness of 2020 G Street. But I'm one of the things that we had in our last conference call with GW that Brian and I were on, where Brian was able, we're working on getting these waivers to even allow juniors and sophomores into the house, is the fact that the university mandates that they want what would be our brothers to be in their housing. And so one of the things that we continue to ask for is, could some of our brothers live together? If they have to live in the dorms, can they be clustered in the dorms? So as the pledge classes begin to come together, but even in subsets of those pledge classes, they can at least be around each other, because that's when you start to develop the ties, when you're neophytes, when you're doing things. And I just heard the president say that with roughly 60 active undergraduates, you didn't have brothers coming to the meetings. Well, it's tricky when they're scattered in half a dozen different dorms to bring them together. It wasn't a problem when we all were there, and there were only, I don't know, 7 or 8 or 9.
Hey, Bob, let me correct here. I get the comments, and not Bob Rajano, not Bob Simon. We will talk about this in the next board meeting, but right now is not appropriate for that discussion.
Okay, let me, by the way, thank you, Brian. John, I think we haven't heard from you. John, how would you like to have the last question or comment before we thank Bob?
There's John. I see him down there.
There's 2 Johns on there. There's Turkley and DiNapoli. Which one do you need?
I still have Napoli.
I need you.
John.
Oh, okay.
Because I like your haircut.
Oh, yeah. Just went for it. Yeah, I'm just, I don't know. I remember, I'll embarrass Bob by just saying the first time I met him, I think he had flip flops and what we jokingly called his hetero pants on, kind of just like some baggy sweat kind of somethings on, and a cap. Then I got introduced to him as the president, and it was the first time I'd met a chapter president, and I was like, "That's the president." It's like, okay.
Look, some things never change. I'm sitting here in
Are you in
board shorts. I got
very casual.
indestructible.
And I said,
I put a t-shirt on today. Like, I'm in the office with all my employees. I got to look somewhat respectable.
I didn't say, is he from California? He said, no, Pittsburgh or something. I was just like, really? I was like, I think he belongs in California. So I don't know if it got mentioned, but if you could just talk about, so I know several of your brothers all went to California. You all headed west. And so was that a discussion in the chapter, or did you lead that migration? Just if you could just, how did that happen?
So,
hey, John, I love that question. I should have come up with it. Okay, I love that question.
So there's like a dozen of us that left together. It was always like something we wanted to go and do to continue it. My twin brother stayed behind a year. He was actually trying to work up for the Capitol Police. He ended up going to law school right behind me, so he came out a year later. It's the only time we were separated. But then my first employee I hired when I started my firm was my little brother when he graduated GW. So I shared an office with him and our copier. That's how we started the firm.
Conroy?
I love it.
Conroy
came later. So I hired my...
Oh, you did. All right, keep going, Bob.
No, it started with just me, and I tried a bunch of cases my first year out on my own and put a hole in my stomach because you're still trying to run a business. So I brought in my twin brother Brad, and he likes to run the mothership from his underwear in a closet. I mean, that's just his forte. And I get to go around and slay dragons in the courtroom, do speaking engagements, that kind of shit. So it works, man. And Brad was always, my twin brother was vice president the first year I was president. He was treasurer the second year, maybe the year after that too. So our incentive, we got free rent. So if you're a president, treasurer, and house manager, because you have to take care of the house, you got free rent. And house manager is probably the hardest.
And our parents love it, right?
Do you ever hang a door before? Holy shit, it's harder than you think.
Yeah.
When did the other?
Hey, listen, this has been a wonderful hour, Bob. You shared so much wisdom and experience and practical insights, and all your achievements bring distinction to the Delta Tau Delta brand. So thank you. And what I love here, Steve, we have the whole family. We got some older dudes, myself included. We have some millennials. We got some undergraduates. And this is what Delta Tau Delta is all about. It's about a lifetime experience dedicated to character development and to leadership and to preparing for playing a significant role later in your life. And again, I want to go back to John. I want you guys, I am so impressed by the undergraduates. You know, anybody that says our future is not in good hands hasn't met the Gamma Eta undergraduate chapter of Delta Tau Delta. So, but Bob, first of all, you know, I'm in fundraising, and there are three gifts we see people can give: time, talent, and treasure. And I know you're very philanthropic, and thank you for that. But as you get older, you realize that time is the most precious gift of all. You can replace money, you can never replace time. So I know you're very big in several charities, and particularly foster care. And you and is it Christine, have adopted a daughter. So thank you. I mean, you really are a Delta Tau Delta role model. So thank you. Everything you achieve adds to our Delta Tau Delta brand. So thank you for doing that. Let me explain what we're going to do. We're going to post some very brief highlights on LinkedIn and Facebook of some of the key comments that Robert shared with us. We're going to do that pretty quickly. And then our producer, John Largent. John, by the way, I'm jealous. He got a seat at Media Row for the NFL Experience Week. And he's going to the game. And I said, I hope it's the Patriots and Rams, but I don't care. I hope it's the Patriots and anyone, but anyone, that's my bias. We are going to share a tape. Every one of you will receive it. Everybody register. We will also post it on social media. And Bob, we know you have a big network, and we hope you'll share that tape to get out your story, but also get out the story of Delta Tau Delta. So at that, I want to thank everybody. This has been a wonderful kind of feels like a family, and that's what Delta Tau Delta is. As my little brother Bob Rodano said, we take care of each other, not just for 4 years, but for the rest of our lives. And Brian and Bob, you're living proof of that. Living proof. I'm so impressed.
Jim, you forgot.
So everyone, have a good evening.
Jim,
Thank
you forgot
for
the
your
fourth
time.
prong. You forgot the fourth prong of giving.
Be well. And again, we'll be sending you a recording, and we hope you'll share that with others. And we have a wonderful photo, and we're going to put some highlights as sort of a tease, because a lot more people are going to watch this on demand than watch it live. So again, rah, Delta Tau, Delta Tau, Delta. And everyone, that's right, guys.
Give the 14.
Thank you for joining us.
Jim, you forgot the fourth prong of giving, of your philanthropic giving. Tax avoidance.
Okay.
The biggest one. Come on.
Oh, that's an attorney. That's an attorney. I love it.
Come on, I auction off a car once a year for tax avoidance, guys.
Virtual fist bump.
Well, all right, guys. Hey, reach out.
Everyone. Thank you.
If anybody's watching Planet Fun Bob on Instagram, that's where I'm most active. But dudes, reach out, man. I mean, leverage your network, or else you're just wasting your time.
John, talk to Bob.
Well,
find him
We'll do.
That's awesome, man.
We'll do. Yeah, Bob. We all appreciate it here so much. It's cool to see. Like, I mean, we're living it right now, and obviously, you guys, we're here in past years, but it's cool to see the network that gets built.
Go find him on the composites.
We'll do. We actually dug up.
I think they're in. I swear to God, Bob's is.
It's in the closet.
Oh shit! I'll find a picture and I'll send it
Bob's
to
is
you.
in the dining room. I think.
You gotta find. There's one year where people wore costumes. That we,
Yeah.
we did shit.
We'll find it and send it. Thank you so much.
Go find it.
Hey, thank you, John. Hey,
Thanks, Jim.
Bob,
Appreciate
thank
you.
Brian, the whole family, John at the undergraduate level, and be well. And we can't wait till we meet again. Be well, everyone.